our next speaker for this evening is Trina-Reggio Emilia.
Hi, today we're going to talk a little about Reggio Emilia educational model. What is it, why it's created, and who joined together. Back in World War II, there was a lot of destruction. Towns were destroyed. There were a lot of men that had to go into the service. Many women were left widowed. Many men were injured when they came back. So the women had to go into the workplace. They really didn't have a choice, but there was a problem. And the problem was, what were they going to do with these small children? Usually you had family members that could watch the child, but in that day and time, if you didn't have anybody left home to watch your child, you couldn't work. But the women needed to work for their survival and for their child's survival. So this town in Reggio Emilia, along with a teacher, Loris Malaguzzi, they decided to create their own environment for these young children. There was a place for the older children to go. In order to build this, they literally had to build the school from the ground up. They sold a German tank and 9 horses in order to get the money to build the school, which was extremely important to the creation of the school. The Reggio Emilia promotes independence and discovery. Children love to explore. Their philosophy is learning and playing go hand in hand. Now, Loris Malaguzzi, he said that each child is unique and a protagonist of his or her own growth. Children desire to acquire knowledge and have much capacity for curiosity and amazement, and they yearn to create relationships and communicate. Now, think about it. Every child is unique. You can tell your child, you can tell your preschool children, your toddlers, I don't care what age, you can tell your adult children. You are unique. Every child in 100 years, in 1 billion years, there will never, ever, ever be a child exactly like you. They're different, they learn differently, they communicate differently, and they like to build relationships. His other phrase was they desire to acquire knowledge. Children love to learn. They love to explore. You can watch from an infant as they're crawling and they put things in their mouth. They love to learn. They don't want to go into a classroom and sit at a desk and just do paperwork. They want to be moving. They want to get up and learn. And the other part was they yearn to create relationships. In the very beginning, the first relationship this child is going to commit to is as a baby, at birth, when they bond with a parent or a guardian, and they eventually build relationships with their families or with their teachers. The Reggio Emilia educational model coined the expression, a child has 100 languages. Let's watch this child play. You see them skipping in, little girls might have their flowing dresses, they dance around, they like to paint, they draw, they use written language, their expressions. They want people to listen, they want to express themselves. And there's 100 ways that these young children can express themselves. And it's through these multiple languages that children learn about the world behind them. They learn about the world and what's going on, and they build their knowledge and their understanding. Now, there's many aspects of the Reggio Emilia educational model. It incorporates the child, the teacher, and the parent. Think about it. These parents came together with the teacher to create a place that was amazing for these young children to go while their parents went off working. But the teacher role isn't a normal teacher. What we think of is what a teacher would do. We look to a teacher to tell us what we're going to learn. But in this environment, teachers are the observers. Teachers watch the child, they look what they're doing, they learn to listen, to see what this child wants to learn, what the child understands. For instance, let's talk about shoes. Every day, a child can come in and they're just going to be, I got new shoes. Look at these great shoes that I have. Aren't they great? My mommy bought these shoes. They're so excited about this new pair of shoes. As a teacher, I can look at that and I'm going to think, what can we learn about shoes? What would these children be interested to learn about their shoes? Well, shoes are all different colors. Now you have a lesson on colors. You can learn where shoes are made. What kinds of things are they made of? You might even make your own shoes out of cardboard. There's a lot of lessons a teacher can come up with just by observing what goes on in that classroom. Now, on the other hand, if a child's misbehaving, teacher, once again, is going to observe what's going on in the classroom, and they can see what's going on, what's happening in the environment. So the teacher role is a very important role for these young students. They learn to listen to what the child wants to communicate, and they focus. The teacher is a guide. They guide the children through their knowledge and their understanding. Okay, so now we have the parents. Obviously, it was important enough that these parents helped create this educational model because they wanted a fun, safe place for their children to go. So the parents' role is really to encourage their children and to participate in the school system. A lot of times, the teacher may ask that parent to document the child at home, and this way, the teacher is able to see what the child knows, what they understand, what they do in the home environment. That helps build a better understanding for the teacher and the child. So the parent, they are welcome, they volunteer at the schools, they help keep the school orderly. There's a big relationship between the child, the teacher, and the student, and the parents. Another important aspect of the Reggio Emilia approach is documentation. Take videos, take pictures of the children. How many of us know how much the children love to take pictures? If you put a camera in front of any little child, they're smiling, they're laughing, and they're probably going to say, take another picture, take another picture. So you can incorporate that and actually maybe give the students a camera. In this day of technology and video cameras and digital society, let the children take their own pictures. And it's important when you go into a school, you're going to see their artwork hanging, their pictures hanging. This actually allows the parents to come in and know what the student has done. What are they doing in the classroom? It's not you just go into a bland school. You're going into a place that's filled with children's artwork. So documentation is integral in the success of the Reggio Emilia educational model. Now, another important aspect is the building itself, the room, how it's set up for the small child. We know small children use all 5 senses to explore the world around. Look at a young kid, they're going to put everything in their mouth. Preschool, toddlers, they love to taste things. They may be licking things that they should not be licking, but that is part of what this young child's going to do. So the curriculum is like an emergent approach. They are in the beginning of understanding this world around them. So you might have a long hallway, and you're in a regular school, you see somebody running down the hallway here. Stop that running. There's no running in the hallway. Quiet, don't talk, you need to be silent. Well, in this model, children are encouraged to run down that hallway, open cupboards, look into things, use your hands, touch and feel and listen and hear. They incorporate nature into the classroom. Nature just isn't outside. It's a part of the classroom. There are so many ways that a young student likes to learn. And even in this Reggio Emilia approach, they do a lot of long-term projects. And you think, well, a 3-year-old, there's no way they can do a long-term project. But they really can. If you're planting a flower and you're trying to watch that flower grow, that takes time. Children know that, small children know that, and they have that understanding. But when you are waiting days for that first little bloom, and you see that smile on that little child's face, and they are so excited that their plant is growing, that's what it's about. It's about getting these children to want to explore their own environment. And there's a strong focus in the Reggio Emilia model on social collaboration. Children are social creatures. They love to talk to people. They love to tell stories. They love to listen to stories. They love to build on their relationships. It's interacting with others that helps these young children as they get older. These projects and working and exploring on their own, yes, it's teacher guided, but it is teaching these young children an early lesson in critical thinking. This is getting those children to understand and to do and to learn on their own how to investigate and how to build on the world around them with what they want to know about it. So I'm going to leave you with this poem that Loris Malaguzzi wrote many years ago. The child is made of 100. The child has 100 languages, 100 hands, 100 thoughts, 100 ways of thinking, of playing, of speaking. 100. Always 100 ways of listening, marveling, of loving, 100 joys for singing, understanding, 100 worlds to discover, and worlds to invent, and 100 worlds to dream. The child has 100 languages, and 100, 100, and 100. But they steal 99. The school and the culture separate the head from the body. They tell the child to think without hands, to do without head, to listen and not speak, to understand without joy, to love and marvel only at Christmas and at Easter. They tell the child to discover a world that's already out there. And the 100 that they steal 99, they tell the child that work and play, reality and fantasy, science and imagination, sky and earth, reason and things that do not belong together. And thus they tell the child that the 100 is not there. And that child says, no way, that 100 is there. Thank you.